Has the United States reached the end of the beginning? Technology, globalization, China, Russia, economic pressure. Technology is worldwide. Manufacturing upgrades are a phone call away. Globalization means nations with less expensive costs can produce much of the needs of the world. China and Russia have their own political ambitions. They want to see Western society fail. Every day it becomes more difficult to maintain the level of prosperity that Westerners have become accustomed to. None of this is a problem. It's an opportunity. That opportunity may be for the U.S. to get even closer with its allies. Canada being right next door would be a good place to start, a new beginning. The opportunity for a closer geographical cooperation that may lead to some other form of union may be a good thing for both countries. For those that would be opposed to getting closer, keep watching. Canada and the U.S. share many common values. Canadians tend to think their country is more peaceful than the U.S. This is only natural when you live next door to such a large population. On the other hand, the U.S. hears very little about Canada because it is perceived to be not so important. The truth is, there are millions of good people on both sides of the longest undefended border in the world. Those people all have the same goals and ambitions, and all want to maintain the prosperity created by previous generations. Globalization is a worldwide revolution. Instant global communication and social networking are softening national boundaries. Many traditions of the past are fading into history. Many nations have benefited from the shift of manufacturing and supply to less expensive places. That gain has created the loss of many jobs in prosperous nations. The United States and Canada have been impacted by globalization. There is concern over maintaining the level of prosperity expected. Maintaining social and economic standards are challenges for many countries. Has the time come for another massive global shift? A shift that will be carried out without firing a single shot. The American Revolution was a significant step in strengthening individual rights. Today, that strength is being challenged by autocratic powers. It may be that the time has come to take a peaceful yet powerful stand against that threat. This could be the next geopolitical revision, just as significant for today's world. It would be done with mutual respect and dignity. February 17, 1815, the conflict ended between the United States and Britain. It had been 39 years since the United States Declaration of Independence. 52 years later, in 1867, the country of Canada was born. Since then, U.S. and Canada have had a mutual respect for one another and have societies that are virtually identical. Differences? There are some for sure. Keep watching. We will look at some of them later on in this presentation. Both countries have always known that they can rely on one another. With the world evolving as it is, the global future appears less secure than it was in the past. Russia and China both have expansion plans and have made it clear that they believe Western society will fail. Some form of union between the United States and Canada would be a bold statement to the world, confirming faith in Western society. There will be some in favor and some opposed to changes in the status quo. Consider the following. First, a comparison of the physical attributes of China, Russia, and the US and Canada. Land area in millions of square miles. Currently, Russia is the largest country in the world. Russia, 6.602. Canada, 3.855. United States, 3.797. China, 3.705. If the US and Canada formed a closer union, the combined US and Canada would form the largest country in the world. More space is a good thing. More room for people to live. More resources, properly managed. Population, shown in millions. China has 1.4 billion citizens. China, 1,400. United States, 335. Russia, 145. Canada, 39. If the US and Canada formed a closer union, the population would be over 370 million. Here's a list of the states and provinces by population. Electricity generation. The United States generates the most electricity in the world, in billions of kilowatt hours. United States, 4,108. China, 758. Canada, 650. Russia, 104. If the US and Canada formed a closer union, combined, the US-Canada power generation would be nearly 7 times that of China. An excellent supply of electricity for the future. Water. Brazil leads the world. If the US and Canada formed a closer union, an abundance of water is not a bad thing. GDP, United States, China, Canada, Russia, GDP per capita, Defense. The United States has the largest defense budget. To create some form of union or not. Differences of opinion are common everywhere. Individuals and family members share different opinions, some much stronger than others. Business, organizations, political parties all have different ideas. Differences of opinion are a byproduct of a free and open society. How those differences are received and responded to is where the rubber meets the road. Just a few of the more common differences of opinion are as follows. Every one of 370 million people could have an opinion. Some say Canadian politics are too far to the left and their health care system isn't like ours. Canadians said we all need health care sooner or later, and to have it available to everyone, we will have to ensure it ourselves. Some say U.S. politics are too destructively partisan, and their healthcare system is way too expensive. Americans agree we all need medical care sooner or later, but there are different opinions on how to get there. The right to bear arms belongs to every U.S. citizen. Although granted well ahead of modern weaponry, no one can fairly challenge the right of everyone to feel secure. Canadians, on the other hand, are among the poorest trained when it comes to guns. There is lots of hunting, but generally guns are harder to obtain legally. Differences are part of day-to-day life. Both societies are trying to accommodate them all. They should not stand in the way. What degree of union should be created? Merging two societies into one could be done either slowly or very quickly, or anywhere in between. The merger could be done in stages. The first being a consolidation of the Customs and Border Services, Coast Guards, military, and postal service. It could be said these mergers have already been done in part by our mutual needs and shared border. The border services could be reassigned. A perimeter setting would provide necessary security. The implementation of a single currency should be undertaken at first. All this can be done with existing government structure in place. After time to adjust to the initial stages, future steps would see mergers of government functions. Ultimately, with care and respect, a new national government would evolve. In Europe, unification has been successful. There should be no reason why two very good neighbors that share so much in common can't do the same. What do you think? Should both governments begin exploring the possibilities? Should there be a limit on how long they have to express an opinion? All should be cautioned into not turning this into a political circus. National pride and future relationships could be affected by inappropriate remarks.